Hello there. The former UK Prime Minister John Major must be getting tired of Brexit, as he's now saying that the Scots should have an IndyRef2. Firstly, please subscribe and like this video to give my channel a boost, and I'm always uploading new content, so please do check back daily, and a big thanks to my Patreon and PayPal supporters. Speaking as part of the Middle Temple 2020 lecture series last night, former UK Prime Minister John Major said that by refusing the Scots an IndyRef2, Boris Johnson could fuel further Scots nationalist sentiment. And leaping to respond, the deputy SNP leader in Westminster, Kirsten Oswald, said, "The remarks from the former Tory Prime Minister must serve as a wake-up call for the current Prime Minister over his undemocratic stance, straight out of the Trump playbook, to attempt to deny the results of a democratic election by trying to block the people of Scotland from having the right to choose their own future in a referendum. Poll after poll has shown that independence is now becoming the settled will of the majority of people in Scotland, and it is for the people of Scotland to decide their future. It is not for out-of-touch Westminster governments to dictate the terms of a referendum or to dictate the future of the people of Scotland." Now, the SNP might like John Major's call for an IndyRef2, but they might also balk at the rest of his suggestion, because Major also said that it should be a two-part process, along the lines of something I've talked about in the past. And that is, the first part being a referendum on the concept of independence, where, if the answer is yes, then it's followed by Holyrood and Westminster negotiating a deal. Then there would be the second stage, a vote on that deal between what the Scots enjoy now and the new deal. In his speech, John Major said, "In law, the Scots require the approval of the Westminster government before they can legally hold a new independence referendum." But on that, The Guardian reports, SNP MP Joanna Cherry, who brought last year's prorogation action against the UK government, argued that it was still not clear in law whether Holyrood required the approval of Westminster before they could legally hold a new independence referendum. One sniffs an Edinburgh Court of Session case followed by the Supreme Court in the offing. Anyway, John Major continued, "But refusing one might help the separatist case by adding to the list of grievances the Scottish National Party exploit with such skill. The choice for the UK government is either to agree the referendum can take place or to refuse to permit it. Both options come with great risk, but the lessons of Brexit may offer a way ahead." And this is where the two-stage approach came out. The Westminster government could agree for an independence referendum to take place on the basis of two referenda. The first to vote upon the principles of negotiations and the second upon the outcome of them. The purpose of the second referendum would be that Scottish electors would know what they were voting for and be able to compare it to what they have now. Now, this was an approach put forward by those wanting another Brexit vote, a referendum on the deal, and if it was rejected, then they wanted the UK to stay in the EU. And as John Major explains, this did not happen with Brexit. Had it done so, there may have been no Brexit. Well, with the entire establishment who had been negotiating with the EU at the time, a ghastly deal proposal would have automatically resulted, then a rejection at the referendum, quickly followed by an Article 50 reversal letter to the EU. And John Major then says, "Many Scottish voices, and especially business, may support the logic of this. It may focus minds away from a short-term reflex opposition to a perceived English government and back to the mutual and long-term virtues of the Union." One wonders if he's looking back at Brexit and thinking, if only. Because judging by what he said last night, what Major would have said back then would have been along the lines of, many UK voices, and especially business, may support a vote on the final deal. It may focus minds away from a short-term reflex opposition to a perceived Brussels government and back to the mutual and long-term virtues of the European Union. You can imagine him saying it, can't you? Now, Nicola Sturgeon and her SNP colleagues will be well aware of this and will want a simple Brexit-like referendum. They will not want the chance of being stitched up with Westminster playing Brussels-type games with them, especially as the UK has had 4 years plus to learn how all these tricks work. But how about a no-deal end to the IndyRef2 process if the deal is rejected, you ask? Well, I'm coming on to that. The problem the SNP has is that in 2019 they were quite open with their backing of such a two-stage process while they cast about for plots and plans to derail Brexit. With the BBC reporting at the time, Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has previously said that the 35 SNP MPs at Westminster would back any proposals for a confirmatory referendum on the Brexit terms, a so-called people's vote. But if the option to remain is not available, the SNP says it could not support any Brexit deal that does not include Scotland remaining a member of both the EU single market and customs union. So the SNP was hoping that the second stage would herald a terrible deal, and they wanted to stop the UK separating from the EU if the deal was rejected. That means they were rejecting the no-deal option. And a senior SNP politician, Pete Wishart, pointed out the dangers to a future Scottish independence referendum of making such demands about a vote on the Brexit deal. Writing in The National, Wishart said at the time, every apparatus of state would be deployed, and they would ensure that the worst possible deal would be offered to the Scottish people, in the hope that their union could be rescued. Sound familiar? So for Brexit, Sturgeon and her motley crew wanted a two-stage process with a final vote of deal or no Brexit. But I would surmise that this approach would not now be welcomed when applied to Scottish independence. But surely the Scots nationalists want to learn from what they see as past political mistakes, don't they? Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it by following the link in the descriptions box below and support me on Patreon or PayPal. So what do you think about all of this? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching.